The mass airflow sensor is one of the key components of an electronic fuel injection system in your car. It is installed between the air filter and the intake manifold of the engine. The mass airflow sensor measures the amount of air entering to the engine or the airflow. In modern cars, an intake air temperature or EAT sensor is built in the mass airflow sensor. There are 5 types of airflow sensors, however, modern cars use a hot wire type. Let's see how it works. A hot wire mass airflow sensor has a small electrically heated wire, hot wire, so a temperature sensor installed close to the hot wire measures the temperature of the air near the hot wire. When the engine is idling, a small amount of air flows around the hot wire, so it takes a very low electric current to keep the wire hot. When you press the gas, the throttle opens, allowing more air to flow over the hot wire. The passing air cools the wire down. The more air flows over the wire, the more electrical current is needed to keep it hot. The electric current is proportional to the amount of air flow. A small electronic chip installed inside the airflow sensor translates the electric current into a digital signal and sends it to the engine computer PCM. The PCM uses the airflow signal to calculate how much fuel to inject. The goal is to keep the air-fuel ratio at the optimal level. In addition, the PCM uses airflow readings to determine the shift points of the automatic transmission. If the airflow sensor doesn't work properly, the automatic transmission might shift differently too. The air mass information is necessary for the engine control unit to balance and deliver the correct fuel mass to the engine. Air changes its density with the temperature and pressure. In automotive applications, air density varies with the ambient temperature, altitude, and the use of the force induction, which means that mass flow sensors are more appropriate than volumetric flow sensors for determining the quantity of the intake air in each cylinder. There are 2 types of mass airflow sensors in use on automotive engines. There are the vane meter and the hot wire. Neither design employs technology that measures air mass directly. However, with additional sensors and inputs, the engine's ECU can determine the mass flow rate of intake air. Both approaches are used almost exclusively on electronic fuel injection engines. Both sensor design output a 0.0 and between 5.0 volt or a pulse width modulation (PWM) signal that is proportional to the air mass flow rate. And both sensors have an intake air temperature sensor incorporated into their housings for most post-onboard diagnostic ports (OBD2). So vehicles prior to 1996 could have the mass airflow sensor without an intake air temperature sensor. So, for example, an Infiniti Q425 produced in 1994. When a mass airflow sensor is used in conjunction with an oxygen sensor, the engine's air-fuel ratio can be controlled very accurately. The mass airflow sensor provides the open-loop control predicted airflow information to the ECU, and the oxygen sensor provides closed-loop feedback in order to make the minor correction to the predicted air mass. Also, see manifold absolute pressure sensor science around 2012. So some mass airflow sensors include humidity sensor. So problems of mass airflow sensors. So problems with mass airflow sensors are common in many cars, including BMW, GM, Volkswagen, Mazda, Toyota, Nissan, and other brands. The sensor element could get contaminated and damaged. For example, in some Mazda Skyactiv engines, a failed mass airflow sensor caused the engine to crank but not start. An improperly installed or collapsed air filter can cause the airflow sensor to fail sooner. Oversoaking a washable air filter can also cause problems with airflow sensors. Symptoms of the bad mass airflow sensor. A contaminated or failed mass airflow sensor cannot measure the amount of air flow directly. This causes the engine computer to miscalculate the amount of injected fuel. As a result, a bad mass airflow sensor causes various reliability problems, including no start, stalling, lack of power, and poor acceleration. In addition, a faulty mass airflow sensor might cause the check engine or service engine soon light to come on. A problem with the airflow sensor could also alter the shifting pattern of the automatic transmission. When the airflow sensor signal varies from the expected range, the PCM records a fault and stores the corresponding trouble code, eliminating the check engine light on the dash. This trouble code can be retrieved with a scan tool. These codes, for example, P0100 is the mass airflow circuit malfunction, P0101 mass airflow circuit range performance malfunction, and P0102 mass airflow circuit low, P0103 mass airflow circuit high, and P0104 mass airflow circuit intermittent. Trouble codes P0171 system tooling and P0174 system tooling bank 2 are also often caused by bad or contaminated mass airflow sensor. How the mass airflow sensor is tested? In modern cars, the only way to test the mass airflow sensor is with a scan tool. Mechanics measure the amount of airflow, so mass airflow sensor readings, at different RPMs. They compare the readings to their specifications or the reading of a known good mass airflow sensor.